Hi, my name is Meg, and the name of my soap is Luludi, and that means flower. I love to use flowers and other natural colors to make the colors in my soap, and I like to just infuse the herbs into the soaps as well, like eucalyptus, lavender, rosemary, hyssop, all of these wonderful soaps I've made and ones to come. I love doing this. I just think it is the most wonderful thing. I even have the Queen of Hungary soap that's infused with lots and lots of herbs and flowers. Well, when I first started making stuff 6 years ago, I had no idea what to do with the jars afterwards when it still has all this oil in it and herbs all stuck to the bottom. How in the heck do you clean these out, and can I clean these out and reuse my glass jars? And is there anything that I can do with the oily herbs to reuse them as well rather than just throwing them away? So whether you're making an oil infusion for eating or for soap or body care, anything that you're crafting like that, you're in the right place, because I had all these questions and it was just things that I figured out, trial and error that I've done over the years to take care of this. I usually let them build up a little bit when I'm in a busy season, and then at the end of making stuff, then I'll take all the jars and clean them out, which is what I did recently. So I'm taking you along with it to show you what you can do with those herbs and how to clean and reuse these jars. I'm very excited about this video. It's been a long time in the planning and making, so I'm glad you're here with me today, and let's get into it. Okay, so these are many jars I've had stashed up for a while. I usually put them in a box and in a place like the basement or the back porch or something until I have enough to clean, because it is a big greasy mess. So you want to make sure that you have a place to put them. Now this first one here, I'm showing you that it is molded, and that was the only one that I did actually just throw away. If you see mold through the jar, don't even try to open it. That just toss it, because it's not worth getting yourself sick with the spores to open it up. So that one was a loss, and that's okay. So what I do, as you can see here, is I scoop out the excess herbs and flowers onto a big thick piece of newspaper. I've said before, these are my little local newspapers that come in my mail, and I can't cancel it. So I try to use them so that they don't go to waste. I use them for all kinds of things, for making soap, and especially for this. So after I get out all the herb that I can with a spoon, I take the newspaper and I put it down in there, as you can see, and I just wipe all around until I can get a lot more oil and more herbs out. The cleaner that you can get the jar right off the bat, the cleaner that they'll be when you go to wash them. And please excuse the big band-aid on my thumb. I had a horrific canning burn. I made jam for the first time in May for the season and burned myself really good. So this is a failed batch of dish soap. It thickened up on me really bad, but it's still usable. So I used this whole batch, where I put it in a little plastic container, and I still use it at home for my own use. And it's already in like little pieces, so it's perfect to just take a couple of little pieces, and then I'm going to put hot water in this jar to let it soak for a while. And I'm just going to show getting a few of these ready so you kind of get the gist of what's going on. You want to check each one, again, like I said, carefully for mold. You don't want to deal with any of that. You certainly don't want to breathe any of that. So usually my jars are okay to sit for a little while and not get moldy. I usually always clean a big batch of them before summertime hits in my house, because we don't have air conditioning and it can get really hot, and of course things like that mold much more quickly in the heat. This one here for sure was the jar that I made the last batch of Queen of Hungary soap. It has tons and tons of different herbs and flowers in it, so this jar was quite full. And amazingly enough, even when they sit for a little while, that's another way you'll know if the herbs are soured and rancid is if it smells bad. When you open the jar, it should smell just like olive oil and herbs. But if you smell a bad smell, even if you don't see mold, it's best to just toss it as well too. Now this one I wanted to show you was an alkanet jar. You can see the beautiful purple there. So I wanted to show this one especially to show you that even a jar this messy and this stained purple can come completely perfectly clean. And in the end you'll see this particular jar of me washing it out, and I'll show you how clean that it gets. Okay, so now coming up, I'm going to start showing how you can reuse this big pile of oily herbs. I have two options for that. Now, first off, this jar here, I had infused coconut oil into. That's what's down in the bottom. So it's already really thick and hard to scoop out. So this is the perfect jar to use for this. And these are old candles that, as I was making candles for selling and craft shows, sometimes they'll have flaws, or they'll be my own personal beeswax candles like that one that I've already lit and burned before. So, but any old candle you have will do. Again, you probably want to use the best wax that you can find, because again, it's going to be lit on fire at the end here. So you want to make sure you don't use really cheap kind of toxic candles. But these like dud beeswax ones are perfect for that. Ones that are kind of flawed and messed up anyway. So here I have melted that wax that I just showed you, and I'm going to start scooping in a bunch of these herbs, as you can see. And I'm going to get in as many as I possibly can with this wax. So I'm going to make two options as far as recycling these herbs, and they're both going to be fire starters. So nothing will go to waste in this whole experience of doing this. I get to get rid of old candles, old herbs. I get to get rid of and reuse the oily newspapers and everything. So I'm just trying, as you see, trying to get as many herbs as I can down into this wax. And the perfect thing to use for these little fire starters I've found is an old egg carton, which it's paper, it's not bleached or dyed or anything. So it again is going to just be perfect, and you can portion them off, as I'll show you later, to make individual little fire starters. And these are perfect for if you have a fireplace or a fire pit outside in your yard and you like to enjoy fires like we do, or for when you're going camping. These are wonderful to bring with. They're solid, so it would be perfect to bring with to start your campfire. And if you do use them inside for a fireplace, they actually smell really good too when they burn, because of the beeswax and of the herbs. And I wished I had had enough wax to use up for all the rest of these, because then I could have made the wax fire starters for all of this. But this was a lot of herb and I just didn't have enough. So I thought, well, it's actually perfect to show you another use for all of this that you can do if you don't have any old candles. So you just need to very carefully roll it all up like a big burrito, as you see me doing here. And I take some just plain like kitchen twine to tie it up. It's like I make sure that it can't come out through that bottom there. You can see that it's open a little bit at the top, but that's okay. And I'm going to get it tied up and take it outside to show you how well both of these will burn. I didn't put logs in the fire. I could have, but I wanted you to be able to really see how quickly they ignite and how quickly that they do work. So while I was outside lighting the fire with those to film that and show you, I had all the jars soaking, and now I'm going to show you washing them out. So it makes it so much easier now that they've soaked with, and I'm using the dish soap that I sell, that I make myself, my solid dish soap. So links are in description for my shop if you're interested in a nice natural solid dish soap. But honestly, any dish soap that you have will work, especially with like a scrubber like this where you can get down into the jars easily. And that's all it takes. A little scrub out, doesn't take much, and then they are ready to throw in the dishwasher. Or if you don't have a dishwasher, I'm showing here right here, this is a spray that I make with white vinegar and lemons, and it's a natural degreaser. So if you can't run it through a dishwasher, you don't have a dishwasher, that's the perfect thing to help get them super clean and not oily anymore, is to spray some vinegar spray in it. And this is that jar I was telling you about in my dish soap, the jar that had the alkanet, and see how it's so purple around the rim. I'm going to show you how clean it gets. It's like a brand new jar all over again. So you get to reuse all the jars that you have for making oil infusions. And I was just absolutely thrilled to make this video. I know it's a pretty simple video, but like I said in the beginning, when I first started out doing natural soaps, and so many of the natural colors have to be infused to get the color. And afterwards I was stuck with all these jars, and I was just had no idea how I was supposed to, what I should do without clogging my sink and everything else. So you see here, perfectly clean right after running them through the dishwasher. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope that this could help another soap maker or another herbalist. The shop links will be listed below for my soap, and take care.